Basics of Python. Introduction of Python. Python is a popular programming language. It was created by Guido van Rossum and released in 1991. It is used for web development, software development, mathematics, system scripting. Python can be used on a server to create web applications. Python can be used alongside software to create workflows. Python can connect to database systems. It can also read and modify files. Python can be used to handle big data and perform complex mathematics. Python can be used for rapid prototyping or for production ready software development. Python works on different platforms. Example, Windows, Mac, Linux. Python has a simple syntax similar to the English language. Python has syntax that allows developers to write programs with fewer lines than some other programming languages. Python runs on an interpreter system, meaning that code can be executed as soon as it is written. This means that prototyping can be very quick. Python can be treated in a procedural way, an object-oriented way, or a functional way. Basic coding skills. Python uses new lines to complete a command as opposed to the programming languages, which often use semicolons or parentheses. Python relies on a indentation using whitespace to define scope such as the scope of loops, functions and classes. Other programming languages often use curly brackets for this purpose. Object-oriented programming in Python. Object-oriented programming is a programming paradigm that provides a means of structuring programs so that properties and behaviors are bundled into individual objects. Primitive data structures like numbers, strings and lists are designed to represent simple pieces of information such as the cost of an apple, the name of a poem, or your favorite colors respectively. What if you want to represent something more complex? For example, let's say you want to track employees in an organization. You need to store some basic information about each employee, such as their name, age, position, and the year they started working. Database application in Python. Python supports various databases like SQLite, MySQL, Oracle, etc. Python also supports data definition language, data manipulation language, and data query statements. The Python standard for database interfaces is the Python DB API. Python inheritance. Inheritance allows us to define a class that inherits all the methods and properties from another class. Parent class is the class being inherited from, also called base class. Child class is the class that inherits from another class, also called derived class. Debugging in Python. To start debugging within the program, just insert import pdb dot. Set trace of commands. Run your script normally and execution will stop where we have introduced a breakpoint. So basically we are hard coding a breakpoint on a line below where we call set trace of. Int and float function. The int in Python is a Boolean method that converts a string or a number into an integer. We can also use Integer in Python to convert binary numbers to decimal numbers, hexadecimal numbers to decimal numbers, and octal numbers into decimal numbers. Float-off is a method that returns a floating point number for a provided number or string. Float-off returns the value based on the argument or parameter value that is being passed to it. If no value or blank parameter is passed, it will return the values 0.0 as floating point output. Boolean function. The Python Boolean type is one of the Python's Boolean data types. It is used to represent the truth value of an expression. Strings hello plus world equal to hello world. List flexible arrays, not Lisp like linked list. Same operators as for strings. Item and slice assignment. More list operations. A equal to range, A dot append, A dot pop, A dot insert, A dot pop off, A dot reverse, A dot sort. Class and instance variables. Class connection, verbose equal to 0. Definition of integers self, host, self dot host equal to host. Definition of debugging self, v, self dot verbose equal to v. Definition of connect self, if self dot verbose, print of connecting to self dot host. Variables, no need to declare, need to assign, not typed, everything is a variable. Even functions, classes, modules. Expression and statements. The expression in Python produce some value or result after being interpreted by the Python interpreter. Example, x equal to x plus 10, x equal to x plus 10, x equal to x plus 10. A statement is not evaluated for some result. A statement is used for certain. In programming language, terminology and expression is a combination of values and functions that are combined and interpreted by the compiler to create a new value as opposed to a statement which is just a standalone unit of execution and does not return anything. One way to think of this that the purpose of an expression is to create a value, while the sole purpose of a statement is to have side effects for displaying values. Tuples, key equal to last name, first name. Point equal to x, y, z. X, y, z equal to point, last name equal to key of 0, singleton equal to 1, empty equal to off, tuples versus list, tuples immutable. Comments. Comments can be used to explain Python code. Comments can be used to make the code more readable. Comments can be used to prevent execution when testing code. Multi-line comments. Python does not really have a syntax for multi-line comments. If statement. Python if statement is one of the most commonly used conditional statements in programming languages. It decides whether certain statements need to be executed or not. It checks for a given condition. If the condition is true, then the set of code present inside the if block will be executed, otherwise not. The if statement is a conditional statement in Python. that is used to determine whether a block of a code will be executed or not. Meaning, if the program finds the condition defined in the if statement to be true, it will go ahead and execute the code block inside the if statement. If condition is evaluated to true, the code inside the body of if is executed. If condition is evaluated to false, the code inside the body of is skipped. If else. The if else statement is used to execute both the true part and the false part of a given condition. If the condition is true, the if block code is executed, and if the condition is false, the else block code is executed. If the condition evaluates to true, the code inside if is executed. The code inside else is skipped. If the condition evaluates to false, the code inside else is executed. The code inside if is skipped. Python elif else statement. If else statement is used to execute a block of code among two alternatives. However, if we need to make a choice between more than two alternatives, then we use the if elif else statement. The syntax of the if elif else statement is if condition 1 code block 1, elif condition 2 is code block 2, else is code block 3 here. If the condition 1 evaluates to true, code block 1 is executed. If condition 1 evaluates to false, then condition 2 is evaluated. If condition 2 is true, code block 2 is executed. If condition is false, code block 3 is executed. Strings. Strings in Python are surrounded by either single quotation marks or double quotation marks. Hello is the same as hello. Strings are arrays. Like many other popular programming languages, strings in Python are arrays of bytes representing Unicode characters. However, Python does not have a character data type. A single character is simply a string with a length of 1. Square brackets can be used to access elements of the string length. To get the length of a string, use the len function. String slices specify the start index and the end index separated by a colon to retain a part of the string. Slice of extracts the text from one string and retain a new string. Changes to the text in one string do not affect the other string. Slice of extract up to but not including index end. For example, string.slice of 1,4 extract the second character through the fourth character. String functions. With string functions, you can create expressions in Access that manipulate text in a variety of ways. For example, you might want to display only part of a serial number on a form, or you might need to join several strings together, such as a last name and a first name. All these functions take either character pointer or character arrays as arguments. String len function